This is the whistleblower who's coming forward and saying that at a facility in Georgia, they were performing unwanted hysterectomies. This is Lynch Nebley with Educating with Wisdom, and I'm the ambassador for Heaven's creative and protecting goddesses and archangels over life. So my contention is she's being set up and she's lying, and she's just a cell. Let's take a look at this. Why would they be doing hysterectomies if they wanted to sterilize when they can simply do a permanent tubal ligation? Why? Why would she be saying that they're collecting people's, or she's hearing that they are collecting people's uteruses in there? When, if they were going to do anything, they can just do a tubal ligation. What happened is that Black Lives Matter and this whole movement has been a setup. If you're a real whistleblower, nothing gets covered. I know this. I'm a real whistleblower. And so you won't even see this. My particular videos, I'll put them online. Nobody will see it. I mean, the people that I want to see, like the population, if I wanted, you'll never see it. All right. And let's come out and take a look at some of the other things that's just never been discussed, okay? Here we go. Like, for instance, here is Fiona Hill. Well, why would the media, or why would President Trump have a transgender man, that's a man, there's his erection, as his advisor on Russia? A liberal transgender man, British, as an advisor for Russia. Does that make sense? Of course not. Did the media discuss this? Of course not. That's not a real whistleblower either. Come on, let's get real. No, what's happened is that the globalist Jews who believe that we owe them something, and I know because I represent the Hurrian and Sarah, and the globalist Jews and both the Greeks and the Romans and Islam engaged in genocide with the Hatti and the Hurrians. I mean, you just wiped them out. Islam just raped through them. You can't whistleblow against these people. No, you can't. Even though they've set up every war possible, you can't whistleblow against them. You can't whistleblow against Black Lives Matter, even though Black Lives Matter and the people involved in it, as well as the globalist Jews who have had numerous, I mean, Trump is surrounded by this. The Clintons were surrounded by it. And I mean, what happened with the last election in 2016, we had Saunders, who was a socialist Jewish person. You think that he doesn't know what's going on? He's not a part of it. They all run interference. Okay, remember, I represent Sarah and the Hurrians, so I can actually talk about this because I'm not hurting them. I'm pointing out that they're doing exactly the nasty stuff that is said in the Old Testament that they say they're going to be doing. So there you do. There you go. But what's happened with Black Lives Matter and what happened with Barack Obama when he got my case, what was coming through, is they decided, and they decided this a long time ago, that they were going to hook up with those people who engage in sin, which men are more than happy to engage with. So let's come out of here. And so by hooking up, they completely burnt their karma for civil rights. But the other thing that happened in 2011, when Barack Obama got my case, the Union of North America, looking after what was happening with the Hispanics, is that the African Americans in Black Lives Matter, which is really about Kenya and Ethiopia and not really about the Africans that came over. Remember, Barack Obama didn't have any family here that had been slaves. The Ethiopian crown prince, his grandfather, made slaves out of black people. The Ethiopians and the Coptics made eunuchs for Islam, okay? So these people are hardly innocent, but they don't want you to know this. So you can't whistleblow about this one either. To make a long story short, Barack Obama burnt education. He never put into place those policies that actually would have helped African Americans. And I'm really unpopular with sports and with people that are in the performing arts and arts, because I would say, don't give those people your money. Take that money and put it into your schools and in education and build yourselves up. Did Barack Obama say to do this? No. I said put cognitive behavior restructuring into your core curriculum back in 2011. Did Barack Obama do that? No. I was a white woman, but I was also talking about changing the primary archetypes and paradigms, how Adam is also male and female. I got involved in things that really turns the world back upside down after the men who represent Satan turned it upside down. Okay, so I'm flipping them around. You can't be a real whistleblower and be heard. Not in this country. Not in this country. We represent Satan. We have the dragon. We're the dragon. Everybody knows, anybody that's read Revelations know that the dragon is Satan, and that's us. If you look at our pornography and everything else, if you look at what's happened with Judaism, the Jews aren't. See, the reason why I know this thing about what's going on is that the people that actually put together what is the Old Testament that we have entrapped the modern people who call themselves Jews. And Revelation says that the people that are representing themselves as the Jews are not the Jews. Think about that. They're not the original people who wrote down those laws. And Deuteronomy and all of that has been completely corrupted. And it's caught by Jesus, and it's caught by others in the Old Testament. In fact, if you go into Micah and Amos, nobody talks about Moses. Nobody talks about the law. When you go into Isaiah, nobody talks about Moses. When they talk about the Exodus in 51, nobody talks about Moses. It's about a woman leading them out. Oh dear. Think about that. So if we go through and we look at some of these other things, like in Genesis 17, we read that Sarah's going to have a daughter. You've got to read it in Hebrew. It completely entrapped all these people that were relying upon the Greek versions, because Greek is the goat people, which, by the way, is what the Hebrews are, the Hebrews. I can't be a real whistleblower in this country. You can't really whistleblow in this country. You can't whistleblow in the world. It doesn't exist. Oh, maybe with the Germans, maybe with Merkel, but not here. You can't be a whistleblower. So that woman who's saying that she's whistleblowing, she's not. It's just a setup. It's not real. Nobody would take her uterus. What would be the point of taking a uterus when you can do a tubal ligation? Not going to happen. Just like nobody will ever discuss this. Oh, let's make it big so everybody can see this. Oh, yes. Nobody will ever talk about this except me. Isn't that a lovely erection? That's interesting. And, of course, that was Mr. Trump's Russian advisor, who is from the Brookings Institute, and sat in with meetings with the Russians, and the Russians never pointed that out. Oh, why would the Russians not point it out? Excuse me. It's too much. They would prefer to have a drag queen walk in with an erection than to allow a woman to become a priest. Think about that. Guess who's running their church? Okay. All right, here we go. Let's come back over here. And let's take a look at some of the other lovely things we can't talk about. Oh, aren't they cute boys? Isn't that a cute boy? That's a cute boy, isn't it? How about this boy down here? And that's a man, all playing women's sports. But what's really interesting is how all these women, men, are complaining, and the African Americans, including the present one, the Haitian and Japanese one. Look at how much taller that one is than the mother. Anyway, look at this. That's a boy, but that's not him. Who's that one? Well, that one's Coco Gauff. But we can't talk about it. And this one says that a woman who can't beat him or her is just a loser. Yeah. So, I think it's great that you're coming back as worms, or whatever else. It's great. Don't you think? Let's look at some of the other things you can't whistleblow. How about the Chinese doctor in the United States, Yang Xian, and his gay hookup. Yang Xian plays reporter for CNN, and he's in charge of the HIV research at Yale, and he's hooked up with that doctor in China who supposedly is showing official papers of the Chinese government online to CNN, like the Chinese government is going to let this happen. Well, he takes selfies in the hospital. Oh boy. You don't? No, you don't have whistleblowing here. It doesn't exist. It's just, you're all a nihilist. That's the only word I have to call you. You're a nihilist. So let's come back and see some more so that you can see some more whistleblowing that isn't actually happening. Oh, I don't want to see me. Come out of me. What's the latest here? Let's talk about more whistleblowing here. And I think, I guess I better say goodnight. Oh, I wanted to point this out. This is a picture of course, my reddish hair with my two children. This is my grandfather, who's pretty dark, Sicilian, my grandmother. And he couldn't go outside much. He had lupus. You can see it along the side. And this is Barack Obama, and my grandfather's lighter, I should say darker than right. That's his real color. Well, he's got light coming down on him. So, no, that other woman's not a real whistleblower either. They wouldn't take it. Why would they do a hysterectomy? And the Black Lives Matter people are trying to cover their asses because they screwed over all the other minorities, and they're screwing them over left and right. But the other thing is that I've said under the Noahide, whether you're old or wealthy, and Jesus will tell you this, and they will also mention it in the Bible, you cannot take a preference for the poor over the wealthy. Justice is justice. So, in terms of the Noahide, you cannot eat from someone else's tree of life. You cannot unduly impose debt on other people in order for you to live. Our elderly are doing this constantly. Our medical profession does nothing but run off of debt. And this is true of all of our war machines. But this is also true in known people that have genetic disorders who insist upon having children. So this woman who's speaking, that is the whistleblower, has sickle cell anemia. Now, should somebody with sickle cell anemia be able to reproduce? Of course not. You should be sterilized as well. You should not be able to unduly impose yourself on someone else. I'm not saying kill you. I'm saying you should not be able to unduly impose yourself onto someone else. Why should someone else pay for your life? They shouldn't. And it doesn't matter. I'm not saying to kill people. I'm saying do not expect. And I'm going to tell you something. In the past in Africa, if you were low, you just died. And this was all over the place. If you were a low person, you came out with a congenital birth defect, all of these things, you died. That's what happened. And that is nature's way of taking care of things. I'm not talking about letting someone who it can be productive in society. I'm not talking about just having them die. But if you are passing over bad genes, or if you are not capable of truly taking care of your children yourself, nobody else is responsible for taking care of your children. You can have a family that helps take care of your children, but if you are cognitively not capable of doing it, then, and if you are biologically not capable of doing it, then you don't have kids. And Black lives do not like this. They don't like this. In fact, a lot of people don't like it. And likewise, you don't deliberately go out, engage in sexuality or in behaviors that's going to cost somebody else money to maintain your life. And you don't spend your time telling other people that they should engage in sin in order to cover your ass. You don't do that. That's what Balaam does. Yeah. That's entrapment. That is as much entrapment that the Jews and the Balaam and the blackmail that they all did with our government and with other people's governments. And remember, these aren't the real Jews, so to speak. But Micah and Isaiah and Amos, but Micah, boy, they really got him. And so did Isaiah 14 when they said, you're going to be our slaves. And Isaiah says right off, you go into Isaiah 14 and it says the goats are back, and Evros are the Everett, the goat father. That's what the Jews call themselves, goat father. Incredible. Okay? Those are not the original Semitic people that were in that area. That is a melding that came down from Evros and from the people of the dragon, the Thracians, the Dacians, Evros, and then the Celts. And they all converged in that area and came up with what Daniel recognizes in Daniel 8 as the goat that then becomes the unicorn that breaks off into 4 different directions. And we're part of that goat. Anyway, yeah. To make a long story short, again, she's not a real whistleblower. I'm getting tired of the government and everybody saying there's real whistleblowing going on. If she was a real whistleblower, CNN would not be covering her. This is not real. Oh, I loved it. I loved Trump's niece, the one who is bigger than Trump, the one whose hands are twice the size of Trump's. You know, the football player, the one that sits there with a hairline when she first came in that comes down to here, and now the hairline's back up here with a totally face. Oh my God, who has a degree, a PhD in psychology. I love it. I love looking at these psychopaths. They're great. They're really great. Okay, good night, folks. Let's see.